God's blessings to you this morning. I want to start off with the good news that you have a God who knows when no one else knows, who understands in ways that no one else can understand. And I want to talk a little bit about a lie we believe, that we have to have a voice to be valued. I'm going to start it in a light way. I remember my 8th grade year playing basketball and was so excited for that season. I got these great Nike shoes with the air on the bottom, and I was ready to have a spectacular year. The only problem is I didn't play that much. I was a bench warmer, and there was this one game where I should have got in because we were down by 10, and I was scratching my head like there's a time where the bench goes in, and he wasn't sending in the bench. I found out later why that was the reason. The coach had overheard us joking around before the game and had lumped me with the jokesters who said, like, we're not going to try hard and weren't going to play hard. And because he thought I was in that mix, he didn't play me. The only problem is that wasn't me. He lumped me together with a group of guys that I wasn't a part of. And so he was punishing me for something I didn't do or didn't say. Now, the game was over. We lost by a lot, and it didn't really matter, but I didn't feel like I had a voice, like tell people, no, I should have played and I wasn't among those. And there are bigger problems today that aren't being heard. There are a lot of things that happen behind closed doors or happen in our lives that we might never have voice to tell other people, and people, even if they heard, may never understand. I consider, as I look at some of the significant issues, the big impact of the Metoo movement. Right now, there's a series on Netflix that highlights domestic abuse. There's all these things that go on where maybe there isn't a lot of voice and attention given to it. And I even think of the times where we try to create a voice for all the injustices that have gone on, to try to help everyone else understand. And usually when you try to do that, when you have to explain to everyone how something bad happened, when you have to tell everyone what, your side, it can actually get you into this stinking thinking mentality where now you were hurt once and it's almost like you're hurt again because your mind is just not coming off of it. So what's a better way? I love our God, and a God who always sees injustice, who always hears our voice, who understands when no one else can understand. And I love the story of Hagar. Abraham and Sarah are waiting for a child. They have this idea, that Hagar maybe should bear the child instead of Sarah. And what voice does Hagar have? She's a servant. Because of this interaction, she gets pregnant, and Sarah gets jealous, and she gets kicked out, and God follows her as she's running away and promises to bless her. God follows her and says, I knew what was going on, and I heard you even when you didn't voice anything. And Hagar says, Lord, you are the God who sees me. You're the God who gives me a voice. You're the God who gives me justice. You're the God who's always with me. Something that I've learned about those who are victims is that their voice was taken away. And I just want to remind you, if that's part of your story, if there's an injustice in the background, your voice was always there before you spoke it, because God knew. And before you could give it proper attention, before you could explain your story in the right way, God knew. And you're valued. In fact, when we allow God to be the voice in our life and God to, again, kind of handle things for us, there's a few great things that go on when we don't try to just explain it away and go from there. Number one is that I believe the Lord fights for us in ways we can't fight for ourselves. Here I consider the story of David and Saul and how unjust it was for Saul to try to kill David before he became king, how unjust it was when David was one of his greatest warriors, and David could have killed Saul. But the Lord was fighting for him. And the Lord handled Saul in his own way, in his own time, because the Lord was on David's side. Isn't it better when we allow the Lord to fight our battles? Now, I'm not saying you never should voice your opinion. Sometimes you definitely should. But in general, isn't it better when we just pray about it and say, Lord, you take care of this? my boss, that relationship, what's going on, that thing in my past, Lord, you fight for me. Another thing we allow God to do then, if we don't have to have our voice, is we allow him to be our justice. The Lord knew how to figure out things for Hagar. And the Lord blessed Ishmael and created a great nation from that period. And the Lord can still bless you, maybe not even in spite of the injustice, but because of it. To make you stronger, to give you perspective, to create a path in a different way. But perhaps the biggest takeaway, if you feel today that you don't have a voice or there's something in the past that you wish people would know, is bring that voice to God. You know, I consider the life of Jesus. Jesus was known for separating himself from the crowd and just talking to his Father. And I wonder if that's the case because even if he tried to explain it to his disciples, they never understand. But the Father would. We have opportunity every day to talk to our Father and say, Lord, there's stuff going on. No one knows. No one will understand. But you do. Because Jesus was made just like us in every way. We do not have a high priest unable to empathize with us, but one that was made like us in every way, so that when we go to him, he says, I hear your voice. Son, daughter, I know what's going on. And don't worry. I got you. I'm on your side. And I've overcome. Give your voice to Jesus. And let it be. Know that you've been heard and understood. Know that you have a God who loves you and has fought for you and has even overcome all of this world's injustice. May this give you peace today, knowing you have a God who's on your side, who gets you when maybe no one else does. God bless.